1985, a police officer shining his flashlight into a backyard doghouse made a discovery that would haunt him for the rest of his life. Curled up inside, shivering in her own vomit, was a 14-year-old girl. In her hands, she clutched a suicide note wrapped in a purple ribbon. It read, "Forgive me, Lord, I didn't want to hurt her." Just hours earlier, her stepmother had been brutally shot to death in her bed. It seemed like an open and shut case of a troubled teenager snapping. But the police had no idea that the real monster wasn't the girl in the doghouse. It was the grieving father standing right behind them. Our story begins hours earlier, on March 18, 1985, in the quiet, picture-perfect suburb of Garden Grove, California. This is the kind of neighborhood where every lawn is manicured and nothing bad ever happens. But at 3 a.m., Officer Allegan's radio crackles to life. He's ordered to rush to 12,551 Ocean Breeze Drive. A panicked man has just called 911, screaming that his wife has been shot. When Officer Allegan arrives, weapon drawn, the front door flies open. Standing there is David Brown, a 30-something computer specialist looking completely traumatized. Behind him, a young woman stands trembling, clutching a crying baby. In the background, a TV silently flickers MTV music videos. The house feels suffocating, yet there's no immediate sign of violence. No blood, no struggle. David points a shaking finger toward the master bedroom. He whispers that someone shot his wife and fled. Strangely, David hasn't even stepped foot into the room to help her. He begs the officer to go in his place. Allegan is instantly unsettled. What kind of husband doesn't rush to his wife's side when she's bleeding out? With his pistol in one hand and a flashlight in the other, Allegan steps into the dark bedroom. He sweeps his light across the room and spots her, Linda Brown, lying motionless on the bed. The officer hears a faint, chilling sound, like a desperate whisper for help. But as he checks for a pulse, he realizes the truth. It's just a death rattle. Linda's heart is taking its final beats. On the floor behind the bed lies a revolver, casually abandoned by the killer. Within minutes, the home is crawling with backup and paramedics. Linda is rushed to the hospital, but it's too late. At just 23 years old, she is pronounced dead, leaving behind her 7-month-old baby. When detectives question David, he doesn't hesitate to point fingers. He claims the killer is his own 14-year-old daughter, Cinnamon. According to David, Cinnamon hated her new stepmother, and their arguments had gotten so violent that he'd forced Cinnamon to live in a trailer in the yard. Also living in the house is 17-year-old Patty Bailey, the sister of the victim, who claims she hid in her room during the gunshots, waiting for David to return from a late-night grocery run. The police have their prime suspect, Cinnamon Brown, but there's just one problem. She has vanished. At 7 a.m., as neighbors wake up to find their street taped off by police, an officer searching the backyard hears a strange, heavy breathing coming from a small red doghouse. He shines his light inside and gasps. It's Cinnamon. She is semi-conscious, covered in urine and vomit. As she slowly crawls out toward the officer, her eyes are wide with an eerie innocence, looking at him as if he is her savior. Next to her are empty pill bottles. Investigators quickly realize she didn't just try to flee, she had swallowed over 80 heavy prescription pills in a desperate attempt to end her own life. The only reason she is alive is because her body rejected the lethal dose, causing her to vomit. Instead of taking her to the hospital, the police handcuff the severely ill teenager and drag her straight to the interrogation room. They want a confession while it's fresh, and they get it instantly. Before the detectives can even ask their first question, the polite, quiet 14-year-old looks up and says, "It was me. I shot her. Is my dad okay?" With a full confession, a suicide note, and a matching story from the father, the case is closed. Or so they thought. Cinnamon is sentenced to 27 years in prison. Case closed. But one investigator, Jay Newell, can't let it go. Something about the trial deeply bothers him. Why was this teenage murderer so utterly obsessed with her father's approval, constantly asking if he still loved her? And why did David, claiming to be too sick to ever visit his daughter in prison, suddenly buy a luxury mansion with a pool, a jacuzzi, sports cars, and start taking frequent luxury trips to Las Vegas? Jay Newell decides to launch a rogue, one-man investigation. And what he uncovers over the next 3 years will expose David Brown not as a grieving victim, but as a twisted, cult-like predator who married 5 times. Each time targeting vulnerable, traumatized teenage girls to brainwash, abuse, and control. And his ultimate masterpiece of manipulation, convincing his own 14-year-old daughter that she had to kill for him.